Today I'm taking a look at a new lantern and video fill light from Wuben with the F5. It can produce 3 tints at 3 different brightness levels each, up to 500 lumens. It has an internal 5200 mAh battery that can power the light and also be used to charge your device. Thanks to Wuben for sending this to me to take a look at and review. I'll have a link to where you can find it in the description and a coupon if they're so gracious to offer one. Here is the packaging that it comes in. It's a nice square box with a little bit of information on the top left here about the lumens, the model number, how big the battery it is with a nice picture. On the back, you've got a little bit of statistics and information about it itself with what it's made out of, the color output tints it does, lumens, runtime hour, battery, just basic stuff. Package isn't that important. Inside you do get a few extras. You get this rubber lanyard that works pretty decently if you like that. You've got a USB-A to USB-C cable for charging. And then you've got this carabiner here, which is just a nice extra touch, and the manual. So let's take a look at the light itself here. It is made from ABS plastic and the build quality here feels solid. It doesn't creak or crack or anything like that. It's pretty nicely built. There's a little bit of slight dome here on the front of the light itself. And then around all the edges here, each edge does something different. First, I'll start here. You've got your 4 LED indicators. These are currently set to a mode where they fade in and out to help you locate the light in the dark. You've got your battery charge door here. It's a nice silicon pad. You've got your USB-C for power in and your USB-A port for power out. It can do 2 amps in and 2 amps out at 5 volts. Next, you've got your lanyard attachment point here. On the very bottom, you've got your quarter turn 20 in brass, which is nice to see. So you can mount this on a tripod or onto the top of a camera with an adapter to add as like a fill light. And then here you've got your controls. You've got kind of that on, off, and mode button there in the middle with the W, which is Wuben's logo. Then you've got the plus and minus for your brightness control. On the back here, you do have this gold part in my case. This is very magnetic. It holds the light very, very well. No problems there at all. And then you've also got this metal ring here that you can hold out. You can use this as a way to hold the light, put your finger through it like that, or it can be set up and kind of used as a stand like this. It really allows the light to go in a bunch of different angles or directions. You can put a string through it and suspend it, say, from the top of a tent. You got a lot of options with that ring. It's a nice little feature. The light does come in 2 colors. You've got the green, which I have here, and then you've got a black body. You do have that lanyard that comes along with the light itself. It goes through this side here and then attaches. Pretty nice, pretty handy. On the back then, you've got that ring that I talked about before. It allows you to act as a stand, which is nice at a variety of different angles. Works really well. You can also string a string through it to suspend the light, say from the top of a tent, or you can put your finger through it to kind of hold it one-handed. On the bottom there, you've got that quarter 20 to screw into most common tripod adapters and things like that. For size and weight, I measured the light at 78 millimeters by 84.6 millimeters by 33.7 millimeters thick. I measured the weight here at 206.5 grams without the lanyard. The light is IPX64 water rated, so it's dust proof and rated for submersion up to 1 meter. And as you can see from the photo here, the light does not float. LED and beam, there is no mention of the exact emitters used here, but I can tell you that there's 3 tints. You've got a 3000 Kelvin, 4500, which I've got it in right now, and a 5700 Kelvin. And I can't say exactly what the CRI is here, but I guess somewhere between 70 and 80. So pretty standard. There are a total of 30 emitters for the 3000 and 5700 Kelvin tint, 60 in total. For the neutral white mode, which I have it in here, it's running both emitters at the same time to produce that 4500 Kelvin mode. The beam is very diffused. I will kind of turn it on here. I've got it in the warm mode here, and you can see it's quite even and nicely diffused. And my night shots will show that as well. Exact outputs here vary based on the tint being used, but low ranges from 7 to 10 lumens, medium 120 to 140, and high 430 to 500, with step down going from 230 to 300. There is a little bit of PWM here. I notice it especially in the lower outputs, and the images here are from the warmer modes, 3000 Kelvin. Here are my night shots for the Wuben F5, and it's a little bit windy tonight, so hopefully these turn out okay. I've got the Wuben F5 here and a couple competitors that I'll compare to, but here is the light in the low mode, in the 3000 Kelvin mode. This is 7 lumens according to Wuben. If I come up here, this is 20 lumens. No, sorry, this is 120 lumens on medium. And this is quite a bit of light here. This is more than enough if you were wanting to have a beer with your friends. You could put the light up easily and see everybody. As I've demonstrated before, the light does have the ability to point. You can kind of set it up on a base like that or use the magnetic features there. But 120 lumens is nice. And this is then high mode, 430 lumens. for 5 minutes and then 230 lumens for 10 hours as it steps down. Here is the 5700 Kelvin mode, the cool white. This is low as well, 10 lumens, 140 lumens, and 500 lumens with a 300 lumen step down. And then here is your neutral white setting, 4500 Kelvin, 8 lumens here. As we bump up, it's 130 lumens and then 480 lumens. So a bit of comparison here. Here is the Olight O-Lantern. This is 360 lumens in cool white. You can kind of see how that looks. It's a harsh color. It's not my favorite tint. Here is the Wuben F5's 130 lumen mode, but in that neutral 4500 Kelvin mode. I really like the neutral tint here, or that warm myself, but you got cool white if you want to do that as well. This is only 130 lumens, and honestly, they're not that different. I've then got my BLF LT1 here. This is close to top mode here, 600 lumens, and this really lights up the page, no problem. Really lights up around because that 360 degree view, whereas the Wuben F5 is only 180 degree lumens out the front because of how the lens is shaped. So big difference there. And I've got this running fairly warm, and they can go 2700 to 5000 Kelvin. So I'd say these two are closer competitors than the Olight just because of the limited features. So I just wanted to show what the Wuben F5 was like at shorter ranges. I've got it on high, it's about 470 lumens. This is a flood, but you can see it nicely illuminates the stairs, and it kind of illuminates my fence. It's dying out by the time it gets there, but again, this isn't a spotty light. This is really an area flood. If we look at the tree in front of me here as it blows, we can see at the 20-25 foot range, it does a nice job of lighting that up. Here it is in the warm tint, and here it is in the cool white. For me, that neutral white is my favorite option. Runtimes on the F5 are quite good. I did my runtime tests with the full 5200 milliamp hour internal battery on each color mode. In top brightness, all three exceeded Wuben's runtime numbers, with warm white being an impressive 11 hours 25 minutes and neutral white and cool white being 10 hours 9 minutes each. All three tints sustained their highest outputs for 8 minutes before stepping down to about 65% relative output. Basically, this is a great light for long sustained output, perfect for lantern applications like what it's designed for, or your floodlights, as long as you don't need that top lumen mode. Heat really was not worth talking about here. The sides and back all stay cool to the touch, with the front part just getting slightly warm. So let's talk about the UI of this light, and I'll try and demonstrate at the same time I'm talking about it here. To turn on, you just center press that button in the middle with the W. It is, Wuben mentions stepless dimming here, but it's really not ramping like what we've traditionally seen from flashlights. You can press up and you've got three modes. You've got low, medium, and high basically, and they do fade nicely, but they are distinct steps. You can double press this W button to go to the next color mode. Here it is in a cool white, the 5700 Kelvin. Double press again, you go to the neutral white mode, and then you press again to go to the warm white mode. You do have these battery indicators on the side here, which we can see better. These will slowly fade in and out in this mode here. You can turn that off by just triple clicking the W button on the side, and now it's off. They recommend you do this when storing the light long term, but I do like to leave them on, especially if I'm going to be using it, because it helps you locate the light in the dark. There is also a lockout mode here, which is worth mentioning. Click that W button 4 times to turn on or turn off. Let's talk about the recharging here. You've got USB-C for power in, maximum 5 volts 2 amps, and USB-A for power out. So you can use this device as a power bank to charge your device. Got a cable here. Let me just plug in my phone, and you can see down here it will say the phone is charging. You might be able to see that, might not. It does say it's charging, and it's not particularly fast charge, but it does work. As a power bank, I ran the discharge test at 2 amps, 5 volts, no problem, and it did this for an hour 31. Capacity after conversion was measured at 3039 milliamps, so not the most efficient circuit here. The internal 5200 milliamp hour battery is non-user serviceable. For charging, the light does support USB-C to C, which is great to see, and my test took 3 hours 22 minutes to fully charge. Max charge rate I saw was 1.7 amps. And your power indicators here do change whether you're using this as a flashlight or power bank. They mean different things, so make sure you consult the manual to better understand that. So the pros and cons for me are, you've got 3 built-in tint options with every light, which is great. Long run times in a pretty compact package. It charges via USB-C to C. It can be used as a power bank. It's got a strong magnet, the quarter turn 20 grommet, and a nice finger retention ring as well. It's got a non-user serviceable battery, and you only get 180 degree field light here versus many other lanterns giving giving you 360. My conclusion is that lanterns are not the most exciting light in your collection, but it's probably one of the more useful ones you've got. Wuben's F5 is up there in my opinion with the BLF LT1 that I looked at last year. It's certainly a smaller package and lighter weight. It doesn't output in the full 360 degrees like a true lantern does, but other hosts of features I think make it worth it for the enthusiast and the general user. The ability to run all three tints at brightness levels that are sustained are really nice. For me, I'll leave it in the warm or neutral tints myself, and that light is pretty well diffused. I feel like the size and weight here are nice. As much as I love the BLF LT1, it's big and heavy, and the Wuben F5 is a more reasonable size here and has a good battery life that is longer than other lanterns that are similar, like the Olight O-Lantern. If you don't have a lantern in your go bag, I'd strongly recommend one. This would be a great addition to that tornado, hurricane, or earthquake, or general power outage situation, since you can use it to provide over 10 hours of light on high, 20 hours on medium, or use it as a power bank to keep your phone charged and topped off. Safe to say, I'm a fan of the Wuben F5 and recommend it. Don't forget, guys, to check the description where you can find the link to this light and where you can find my social media pages. And as always, I hope you like these videos and you subscribe to the channel so you can catch next week's review. Thanks for watching.